Okay, it's Tzorayim Tov, everybody. We're continuing in the Bayam Darkecha. This is class number 31 for those that are counting. We're on the upper left-hand side of page Samach Aleph, and we're in the middle of subcategory Hey, which is talking Bittul Ba'etzem. Now, it's not, he doesn't make it, the author does not make it abundantly clear, but this is really the fifth level. We've been talking about 4 levels. And at the beginning of the next chapter, he will demarcate this Bittul Ba'etzem as a 5th level. As the 4th level is talking about complete Bittul, where the person has no reality at all, Einod Milvado. But then this Bittul Ba'etzem takes you to the next step that you really sense that although you're nothing, you're still a kli, you're a receptacle to reveal Hashem's light. And that's what is focusing on over here. So we continue where he left off. He says there's no contradiction to your existence, although you have no existence. He's going to really focus on that at the bottom of the page and say some very important words. So we're on Samach Aleph, top of the left page. Kiroa, because the person sees Shekol Metzias Anivraim, the entire essence of all the creatures, Ein Metzias Asmis. It's not an independent reality. Elahem Ofanei Gilu Shel Or Eloki. They are methods of revealing the divine light. Vehem Kelim Legilu Or Eloki, and they're utensils to reveal that. V'chol Pulasem, and every action of everything in the world, who Gili Ratzon Hashem Yisbarach, is revealing the will of Hashem. Pei Zion, interesting. That's going to essentially be the virtue of the messianic king. There's no one can imagine what the depths of Torah he will reveal will be. Such a depth. So it will bring the Jewish soul to mamish see the divine. Liros echakol araloki. To see how everything is the divine light. That's going to be one of the beautiful things of Mashiach. Kach, to the point, on the one hand, no creature has its own reality. Umitzad sheni, but on the other hand, mitzad agilishu magalis or loki. To the degree, though, that you do reveal, they do reveal the divine light. Yesh lo metzius nifla has a wondrous reality. But it's not his as his own independent. Elikemagalis, or it's a revealer of the light. So your existence is not essential independent existence, but it's the ability to reveal that which is inside you. That's the existence you have to realize and be satisfied with. Back upstairs. And you see, you see how the Shekhinah rests in everything. Everything is utensil of Hashem. And you could feel how Hashem is found in every movement, his or others. For us, and at that point, when you reach this final 5th level, Adarabah, the opposite. Kechol shu yoser poel. The more you act, the more you do. V'yesh lo yesh yoser, and it appears that you have more somethingness. Miskaberes boat chusha, but then the feeling and reaction on the other hand gets stronger. Shayesha says this something, you do see something happening. You are making, something is happening through your actions. And the more the something that you see, the more you say, Zelo ani, it's not me. Elozeh or Hashem Yisbarach, it's the light of Hashem. Shemisgaled dirachai, that my ways are revealing. So this is what he's saying. He doesn't want us to feel that we just don't have anything to, I skipped a little bit. I skipped a paragraph. Okay, I skipped this paragraph. I'm sorry, because I jumped from page 7 to page Ches. So let's go back. So if you understand the and if a person knows and sees that the whole creation is nullified by Hashem and has no independent reality, but still you don't hide from creation. But you see in everything how the pasuk says, I am Hashem who dwells inside the Jewish people. Okay, so let's go back to the Peches that we skipped, and we're going to finally get to Peches. That's going to really define Bittul Metzius, which is that fifth level. When you've come to the point where you realize everything is nothing, it's as if you're closing your eyes from seeing them. Then you understand that which there is reality. The only reality is being a vessel for the light of Hashem. So therefore, when you open up your eyes, which means when you got to do something in this world, you won't leave the clinging to Hashem. Because there'll be no reality in this world that will prevent you from remembering the reality of Hashem. Why? Because he's able to see that everything is the utensil to reveal Hashem's light and not its own reality. Again, the things that we're seeing coming out of Washington, which are so bizarre and so unusual, you have to see that as the Gili Hashem Eloki. Hashem is revealing things. Don't get nervous. Just be smart. What is Hashem revealing? He's revealing a lot, but that's what you realize. It's all a revelation of Hashem. And now he finally will define. So therefore, the more you do, the more there's something, and that more of that something is not me, but I am more of a microphone, as we've said, to give off that light of Hashem. That's the more of you. Pay test. Madregas bitul b'mitzias. So this final level of bitul be'etzem or mitzias, Nikres is called, where'd it go? Oh, I'm sorry, that's Peites. So that is called Minucha, rest, which is now going to give us an insight into what Shabbos is. Then the person realizes he's nothing. He delights in the true reality of Hashem. And all his actions are if they are done by themselves. Very fascinating. This little sleeper of a footnote is saying when you get to that level of bitul, that's called menucha. And as we continue in the Friday Tish, it's going to overlap. What was the world lacking? Hashem created the whole world. Remember, Hashem created everything. What was it lacking? Chazal say it was lacking menucha. So the incorrect understanding is rest. It was lacking rest. So question, what do you mean it's lacking rest? How could it be lacking rest? How could it be lacking rest? Hashem doesn't get tired. There were no people worked yet. So what does it mean menucha? So menucha means that level of bitul metzius, where the world acknowledged it was nothing but the light of Hashem. That's menucha. Because menucha, when you're resting, what by definition, what's happening? You're doing nothing. You're doing nothing. So 6 days of a week, you're doing, and you could be fooled and think you're actually doing. So then, because you may forget about your bitul. But when you reach the level of bitul atzmis, which means even what I'm doing, I'm not doing. And I'm just a receptacle for the energy to flow out. That's menucha. Even though scientifically you're moving, but it's a state of menucha, of rest, meaning I'm not doing anything. It's the sandwich, front and back end of the sandwich. Shabbos bo menucha, says Chazal. When Shabbos comes, Menucha comes, which means to say the best day to experience Bitul is Shabbos. Because at that point, what the world was missing is acknowledging that aspect of Bitul that exists, which obviously means that Shabbos is a day that Bitul shall happen. And that's going to give us insight. Again, on Friday, we talk about Aliyas Olamos, that the worlds ascend. What does it mean? Because when the worlds don't ascend, we think each world is a world into of itself, and it's not connected to Hashem. So now when the worlds ascend and you see that it's one link to everything, and Hashem is making everything happen, and every world and every aspect of all creation is just a receptacle for that. Then when you realize that you're the receptacle, then it's Menucha. What do you got to worry about? Do you think a microphone is worried that the sound coming out of the microphone will be good or not? All he can do is amplify. If the person gets up and spews forth the worst words, the microphone doesn't feel, it didn't do anything. You understand? The light bulb, it's creating so much light. Well, all I did was do my job. But if you think you're really doing everything, if you really think you're doing everything, then you have a lot of worries. Come Shabbos, there's so many things I didn't take care of. You know what's on my head, Rabbi? How do you expect me not to talk about business on Shabbos? Do you know how many business deals are looming? And I did enough to sacrifice to walk away from the table at 4:00 on Friday. You'd expect it not to be on my mind? Hashem says, well, as long as you think you're somebody, it's always going to be on your mind. But if you reach that level of Bitul Atzmis, where there's nothing going on without Hashem, and the only thing you ever were able to do was reveal God's light, then there's nothing to worry about. And on Shabbos, it's a time where the revelation of the light is clearer. It's a taste of Mashiach. Mashiach is when it's completely clear. It's like no doubt that we're just vessels of the light. Shabbos is a taste of the world to come. We'll taste that we're the vessels. And that's why we have to look as if all our work is done. You know why? Because we never did any work to begin with. All we did was reveal it. So these are concepts, you see, that will start infiltrating our studies of Shabbos and Menucha and Mashiach. They all fit into this idea. Okay, beautiful. So now we're going to get to, let's see where I'm up to here. We're going to now the last page on this paragraph. We're now on page Samach Beis, Sikum. That's subcategory 6. Sikum is the conclusions. Just a bit of a review, really, more than anything else. Okay. This thing always makes it hard. I had it, lost it. Okay, it'll come back. He's bar b'siyata d'shmai. So we explained with Hashem's help. The parak said in this chapter, Shem Daled Madregas Babitel, 4 levels of Beetle. Shem Daled Madregas Bakar Shal Adam Mitzias Hashem Isbarach, 4 levels of the recognition of man of Hashem's reality. Vehem, and what is that? Quick review. Aleph. Hakara basisis b'mitzias Hashem Yisbarach hagoremes kabbalas ol malchuso. It's a fundamental recognition of God's existence that causes us to accept the yoke of his kingdom. As we said, it's like the relationship between a person and his king, where you totally feel that you exist, and all you know is there's a king that I have to listen to. Beis hakara gdol yoser, a greater recognition, b'kachshu itanu kol hazman, that he's with us all the time. Like we said, family. And this recognition causes us to feel an emotional connection inside of our lives. Gimel hakara, now it's I exist, but Hashem also exists in my world, but still lower level. Hakar, now Gimel hakara tzuma shemakar Hashem is recognition. A higher recognition is Hashem makes everything happen. There's no existence of the created world without the light of Hashem that flows into it. This is a recognition that brings to a person to recognize he has no importance at all. That's the student in front of the Rebbe, the servant in front of his master, that, you know what, I still exist, but I'm so insignificant to this greater being that exists. And Dalit Hakara Muchletas, a complete recognition, Shemevin Sheba'im Ke'emes, he understands in the depths of the truth, HaKol Zerak Or Hashem Yisparach, it's all only God's light for Raku HaMetzius Hamitis, but he is the only true reality. B'Hakara Zu, and that recognition, Mevia Esa Adam Lehargi She'ein Lo Metzius Atzmis, this person feels, I have no independent existence at all. I'm sorry, that was the example of the Father and the Son, because the Son was nothing if nothing came from the Father. And now he adds, he wants that fourth, now he adds, V'oz yala lahargish, then you'll ascend to feel, Shebachol Metzius, of all of his reality, Mitziuso, Ubefrat B'chom is everything, Hutzinor Akli, just a conduit in a vessel, Legili or Hashem Yisparach, to reveal the light of Hashem. And that's the fifth level, Bitol Be'etzem, where everything, and that's the positive part, because by the end of the fourth part, I don't exist at all. Right? But no, you do exist. You exist as the utensil. You've worked so hard to make yourself a refined utensil where the light of Hashem completely illuminates from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So these are the reviews. And with this, Zion, the last subcategory, the benefit of all this is Chaye Emes, true life. I skipped on the bottom footnote after the word the menucha that comes in. Okay. And we said that he delights with the truth of the reality of Hashem. He says, a volcan. But here, bebitul be'etzem. Okay, so let me just get this clear for everybody. I don't want to confuse people here. At the end of the beginning of the footnote, I'm trying to get it up here. He said, Madregas bitul b'metzius, that's the fourth level. Bitul b'metzius, nikres menucha. Whoopa. Man, I don't know what's going on here. I'm trying to find this. Okay, it's called menucha. Okay, that's the fourth level. But now he's speaking out of Volkan bebitul be'etzem, the fifth level, which is bitul be'etzem. Yeshlo yoser v'yoser cheshech v'rotzon v'eish. The person has greater and greater yearnings and desires and fire, lasos v'lifol, to do. Kidei legalas yoser v'yoser sarloki, to reveal more and more the light of Hashem. Ulahosif b'ashrasa, and to add for the Shekhinah to dwell within him. So we've got the bittul mitzius and the bittul be'etzem. The bittul be'mitzius is that fourth level, the bittul mitzius, that I'm nothing and it's all menucha. But then that final point is when you realize you're the kli, then you want to do more. So how does that fit into our Shabbos paradigm? The Shabbos paradigm is Bo Shabbos Bo Menucha, that fourth level, that all of reality is just nothing. We're totally nothing, and that's Menucha. So you know what that brings you? The highest level is when? Motzei Shabbos. Motzei Shabbos. After living in the fourth level of Menucha, and then you come to the total understanding, and now we get to this term of Bitul Be'etzem, which means to say, and now I totally get that I am something amazing. I'm a utensil to bring it all out, and I have more energy. So it means when Shabbos ends, I should have that excitement and that desire to reveal more and more. And that's why we make the Havdalah, to make sure we got it clear. Hamavdul ben Kodesh l'chol. I have to know what's in Kodesh l'chol between the Jewish people and the nations of the world and all those things. Now that I have experienced this menucha, which is this bitul b'mitzius, and that's why on Shabbos we don't create anything, so to speak, but we live in that reality that Hashem is everything. So then what is it that I do? Now I go out into the world on Sunday again, Saturday night, where it's time for action, but I understand my action is a vessel. That's my action. That's the vessel that I give off. And that's how Shabbos should, and that's why of all the levels of Shabbos, the highest level is Malava Malka. Malava Malka is what? It's the Sudas David Malka Mashiach. It's the meal of King David, the Mashiach. It's when Eliyahu Navi can come. That's when we're meant to really, so it's so fascinating what the Torah does with us. Remember, the rule is, the greater the opportunity, the most people squander it. That's, by more squandering, more opportunity. The biggest opportunity is Malava Malka. Biggest. Because now you're going to hit the fifth level. The fifth level. So what happens? Watch movies. Waste your time. Do all these other things. When really, that's the time to really get to work. It's the time to really do what you can do. So all kinds of things. Learning Torah. So it's kind of, Shabbos, that was a holy day. Forget about it. Now I could be a bum because I had a great day. I went to shul 3 times. I'm very proud of myself. And it is good. It is good. I learned Torah. We had an amazing Shalosh Shudas. Amazing. Great. We really felt a lot. Yesher Koyach. And now, can I take a break Saturday night? The point is, now you're prepped for Saturday night. Now get to work and realize that you are such a big something as a revealer of the light of Hashem. So what are you going to reveal? And it's interesting why we use a torch for Havdalah, not just a regular candle, a torch, because now you should really be on fire. And now what should you do? Do things that are hard to do. For example, I'm giving a random example. I don't mean to pick on anybody or anything. But I say, let's say one of the hardest things to do is to make a shidduch for somebody. To try to find a shidduch for somebody, it's really not easy because there's so many challenges. So maybe on Motzei Shabbos, you have to know a nice boy and a nice girl. Try to make a shidduch. Now, a shidduch is like as hard as crossing the Sea of Reeds. So you prepare Motzei Shabbos. You know what the meal is supposed to be on Motzei Shabbos? Is the beetle sandwich. That's when you really eat your biggest beetle sandwich of the week. Because you've just come off from such a sense of beetle. And you've ended off the Havdalah. And now you're in total beetle mode, but now I have to act. When is it better to do any action when you've had a whole 24 hours of beetle? You've mamish patted one end of the sandwich really good. And now you're going to get into the guts of the, tuna fish, egg salad, everything you're putting inside, all that effort. But you're not fooling yourself. And then do those things that are difficult, but those things that shine the light. Call people that are forgotten to say, that was so nice of you to think about me. And that way you'll see the divine light coming out. Torah, Voda, Gemilas Chasadim, that's when it should be now I know it's hard. A lot of times you finish Shabbos, you're so tired. You're tired. I know you're tired, but now's the best time to shine the light. So that's what Motzei Shabbos should be filled with. So that's why we try to have every month a Malava Malka with everybody and to hear Divrei Torah and things like that. But it's really time to just get going. The day of rest is over. The day of Menucha is over. It's over when the sun goes down. And, in the summer, when Shabbos, you don't get home till 11 o'clock, so you're so that you just go to sleep. But in the winter, you got a full Motzei Shabbos still. So we have to think of things that make us into a yesh, that makes us really into a something in terms of shining the light. Okay, so Zayin now is Chaye HaEmes, the last final subcategory, a life of truth. A Jew who merits beetle, as he merited to realize he has no independent essence at all, as we've gone through the 4 levels. And to get to that 5th level, even he clearly his whole existence will be a utensil to give off the light of Hashem. Also, is now he begins to live a true life. This is really living honestly. Everything he does starts from that point of the inner truth. He will think about that always, and it'll elevate him. He'll feel that he's desired before Hashem. When he prays, everything he does. Because if you know and act like utensil, then you know Hashem's happy with what you're doing, and he should give you some aspects of success to the degree he wants. Everything has to start from the true root. From the recognition Hashem is everything. And a person is the tool to reveal it. Every prayer or action that flows from that recognition and that feeling. It's a true prayer, a true action, and it's filled with favor in the eyes of Hashem and people. When you go in this path, you can feel it and you know it. This is what Hashem wants. I'm really doing what Hashem wants. And I think that's one of the biggest issues we have. We're saying, I don't know if Hashem's happy with me. When you have this beetle, you know 100% Hashem has to be happy with what you're doing because you're doing it completely as his shaliach. That person who merits to live that way, then in every situation he feels Hashem. Bein Baliyah, whether he's going up, Bein Birita, when he's going down, Bein Bisman Ha'oro, Bein Bisman Ha'kosh. It doesn't matter times of light, times of difficulty. He knows. He knows he's doing the right thing. And he is growing in one way or another. Because he feels he's a chariot to the light of Hashem. And he senses Hashem's light upon him. And it's always good for him. Because all that he does, and anything that happens with him, he's always connecting it to Hashem. He knows there's nothing other than Hashem. And everything is a utensil and a shliach Hashem. Lasos kitzona tov, to do as God wants. Umela tov lo tamid. Therefore, it's always good. Ki v'chol inyan shavol. Next page goes in every aspect of the world. Umisbatel ha'nagas Hashem yisbarach imo. He surrenders to Hashem's conduct with him. Tamaru, taste and see. There is no greater pleasure that's higher than that. This is the true enjoyment of life, is to know that you are the utensil of Hashem and you are doing something immensely amazing. And that is your identity. You identify as a receptacle, the device that shines the light. And therefore you have to do more. Because if you don't do more, then where's the light going to shine from? That's the whole point. Okay, so we got 2 minutes. So let's just start Perek Beis, the overall second chapter, which gets into Darkecha Kinyan HaBittul, the ways we acquire the bittul. Everything now has been in theory, but what are the ways? So he starts, the first one short, we can squeeze it in. Subcategory 1, Aleph, Ikar HaKinyan Al Yidei Bonus. The main acquisition comes through reflection, meditation. Ikar Derech Liknos as Midas HaBittul. What's the main way? The first step to acquire this level of Bittul Al Yidei Bonus Chazaka, with strong meditation. The thinking, the hainu, you got to really think very long and hard about the reality of Hashem and the oneness of Hashem. So to the point that knowledge is so clear to you, that it enters and you feel it in your heart. It makes the heart like a flame, a torch of fire. To the more you understand and recognize in your seichel, there's nothing other than Hashem, Kach yuchel yosel hargish as you can feel that truth more. And live with that truth. And therefore to nullify yourself before Hashem. The rule is you have to increase the understanding of the seichel till it activates the feelings of the heart, from the mind to the heart. And once you have the feelings, and then he works harder to feel it more and more according to his abilities. Footnote Tzadi to end it off. Because when the heart feels the truth, it has to be understood by his seichel. Therefore, the more you think about it, to really recognize the existence of Hashem and his unity, something else for him, he's everything, to that degree, it's really clear. Then you could feel the bittul. As it says, the famous pasuk in Dvarim, and you were made known today. Make it known today. Bring it into your heart. The Hashem is God. There is none other besides him. That is the Iker Kinyan. And now, Beis, that will start tomorrow, is let's start talking about what kind of thoughts to be thinking. And this is really fascinating. And we're going to get a little bit Kabbalistic over here. It will be amazing. Okay. Shkoyach, everybody.
Thank you.
Okie dokie. We don't have 4 more minutes. We've been